Welcome back, everybody. Yesterday, Minister of Police Bheki Cele visited the Cape Flats communities following Tuesday's hashtag total shutdown protests. Now, the purpose of this visit was to engage with the involved members of communities who participated in the protests on their concerns. And while the protests were on broad societal issues, including the rising poverty, the unemployment, housing, gang violence, being the subject of crime received more attention as the area is one of the hotspots in the country. Now, Police Minister Bheki Cele joins me now from a Pretoria studio. A very good morning to you, Minister. Thank you so much for joining us. It's an absolute pleasure having you on Morning Live this morning.
Morning, Simpiwe, and morning to the listenership.
You personally went to Cape Town and met the total shutdown protesters. How did the meeting go?
The meeting went very well. It was on the invitation of the leadership of the total shutdown. Though there was an incident at the beginning of the meeting because there was a leadership of the local government there. There was a councillor and I think the member of the mayoral committee there. People did not take count on that and they requested that they leave the meeting because the meeting was specifically between this committee and the Minister of Police. It was not a too nice scene, but they left and then the meeting continued very well after that.
Now, Minister Cele, the Cape Town Metro Police on paper is constituted of different units, including the gang unit, the tactical response unit, the strategic surveillance unit within the police force to work on gang-related matters. Just how effective are these?
Well, up to this point, it looks like it's a very hard nut to crack, the issue of gangsterism in that area. You remember, Simpiwe, that 3 months earlier, we created what was called the Operation Thunder, where we've increased the number about 300, pulled them from different parts of the country to be in Western Cape, especially Cape Flats, so that we can push back on this. There have been some success, no doubt about it, but the issue remains with us. Hence, we are looking at the new angles of approach. The part of that is to meet the communities, speak with the communities. Next Tuesday, we're having the sit-down kind of the meeting with these communities so that they can make the input. But from our side, we have been already planning, including the idea of, it's going to happen soon, of reviving what was called as the anti-gangster unit in that particular area. So we hope and we wish to work much harder so that we can put the communities on the safer side and begin to win this war against gangsterism in that area.
And speaking of the different angles of approach, as I've just mentioned, one of the concerns is that the Bonteheuwel population, for instance, is about 80,000. And the law requires that for every 220 people, there should be at least one police officer. Bonteheuwel doesn't have a proper police station, but a small contact center. Why isn't there one with such high crime levels?
Well, that is a national problem that has been identified and is being corrected. But the issue of the shortage of the personnel power in Western Cape is a national issue. It's them only so far that we have pulled other people from other provinces to increase the numbers in that area. We agree, we are working on numbers. We are working on numbers of people that we are going to send on training. I'm not going to give the number now, which is more than 1,000 people, and those people will be trained for Cape Town. But more than that, we are creating more special units, your TRT and other units, to be part of policing that area. So it's an identified problem and is a problem that we are correcting nationally, but there are specifics for Western Cape, as I've mentioned.
Fair enough, Minister. But protesters were saying that they were actually shocked to see so many police during a protest, but they are not there when they need them the most. I mean, this makes the police force more reactionary than proactive.
Well, that's a POP, public order policing, that does not stay in stations. Remember, they are a national unit that moves to that particular area if there is a need for that to happen, especially when the people are protesting and all that. They are trained particular to handle the masses of people as they're protesting. So it is not only Western Cape. When you see the protests, you see more numbers of that. So that's the reason. But they are not doing your day-to-day policing, or unless there is a special kind of operation where they're also invited. But the day-to-day policing is done by the police at the stations, but then also the special units like TROT and all that. So it won't be the numbers that you see every day as you have some political activities or any other activities by the communities.
Minister Cele, you know, a blue uniform has historically been associated, or rather signaled power, but it's not put to use. I mean, so many cops are involved in criminal activities. And I'm going to quote you a survey that was released recently. And according to the survey of just over 1.1 million households across South Africa, the most frequent reason for not reporting these crimes officially, cited on average by 6 out of 10 crimes, was that police would not or could not do anything about it.
Well, I don't agree with the assertion that there are many police that are involved in criminal activities. Police are involved in criminal activities, yes, but the bigger number of the South African police service members are good people that are doing their work. One thing to show that your South African Correctional Services Center, the prisons, I'm told about 42% overpopulated. And those people did not march to prison. Those people are arrested by the police. They are processed by the police, sent to court, and are sent to prison, which means they do their work. Indeed, there are those that are bad apples, and we act on them. For instance, Umtata, about 3 weeks ago, we arrested 6 of our bad members. We have arrested 17 of them. Only last week here in Pretoria, we arrested 2 of them. We will arrest, we will act upon the bad things that they do. But beyond that, we have the IPET, the independent body that deals with the police that go wayward out of the duty to do wrong things. So we act, we have response on those matters. But big portion of South African members of South African police are good men, good women doing their job as they are expected.
The people yesterday said they want a working class summit, just like some of the issues raised in the protest. This is not within your sphere, or doesn't even fall within the ambit of the police force. But the social issues seem to have a ripple effect and manifest in crime. Is there perhaps a working relationship with other departments to join forces, to combat these social ills that are breeding grounds for crime?
Well, Simpiwa, that's a problem of being a member of the South African police in South Africa. All other problems, they end up with the police. Whether there is a problem, education problem, end up with the police. Whether there is a health problem, end up with the police. Whether there is social, whether there is housing and all that, end up with the police. But I agree, the government, if it works on synergy, we work together, there will be less work for the police in terms of the communities protesting. That's why there was also a request yesterday from that meeting to bring other units, to bring other ministries, so that we can work together. The ministry that they spoke much about are those people that deal with electricity, water, which will mostly on the local government, the human settlement, that is the housing, and other that deal with their life on day-to-day life. So if those things, they go well, there will be much less work for the police. So it's important that the government works on the synergy, we work together. We have agreed that we'll make that request to the head of the business of the government business deputy president to allow those ministers to go and work together and see what can they do to make life better. Once the life is better for the broader community, life will be better for the police too.
And just in conclusion, Minister, we don't have much time, unfortunately. What's the way forward?
The way forward is that next Tuesday, we are meeting, we listen to the communities, but also we work towards their request of having invited and requested more departments to come and work there. And put things that we're dealing with, increase the number of the police, work with the community, improve the relationship between the communities and the police, and make sure that those people that are arrested, they go to court, they get sentenced, they spend long time in prison, and we work together with the community for their satisfaction, mostly for their safety, and life will be better.
Honourable Minister, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, that was Police Minister Bheki Cele just giving us an update about his visit to the Cape Flats following Tuesday's #total